Hello. We had a Facebook glitch. So I did this big old spiel and it didn't record. And we got cut off on the last time. So ain't no thing. Here I am. We had just started to go through my little deck of cards that I made to talk about we just got done talking about scar release, which is so important and fantastic, and all the different benefits that come from that. So much more than just relieving that scar, right? So I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to carry through my cards, and then we're going to talk about my online course, Reclaim Your Body After Breast Cancer, which is launching now, and that's going to include live group coaching classes with me. So as opposed to just doing a course on your own, you're going to have me every step of the way. It's a 7-week course online. I'll get into the details of that. Start date is June 6th, and there's an early bird discount that is effective until May 14th, $200 off, because, let's make it a party. Okay, so we just got done talking about scar release, and then I just had pulled a card, and it was community versus isolation. So we're going to talk some of the benefits of what different things women have gotten from the course of working with me. All right, and just different ways that we can get to know ourselves, right? Community versus isolation. So we've talked about in the past in some of the blogs and such, and probably just from your personal experience of how isolating a recovery can be. And sometimes, say for example, when you get the all clear from the doctor, which is this huge celebration, right? But then there's this space, like you don't see anyone on your healthcare team for 6 months. And before then, you've been going quite regularly and you get this feedback that everything is doing great, that you're moving along. And then you get that discharge where you're home free until your next scan. And so that can be really difficult to communicate to your loved ones because in their world, that means you're all better. Breast cancer is done and over with, and you get to just go back to doing whatever you do and being normal and all the things. And so when you're in a space of not feeling better, right? We talked about how you answer that question of how you're doing, right? And of course, it's going to change with different people, but even with your people, with your loved ones, it can be easy to just say, I'm fine. And we talk about how that's super appropriate and really handy sometimes, but also can leave you a little bit of feeling of isolation because there's all of these things going on. Reclaim Your Body After Breast Cancer is helping fill in the gap, that space that is not addressed, the aftercare that women are not getting after all their breast cancer surgeries and treatments. And so noticing that isolation and creating an understanding or using the tools that you can connect with yourself and connect with other women that are going through the same thing. How to really connect with our loved ones, creating a language or a way of describing how you're feeling without kind of running you through the muck, right? So if my husband asks me how I'm doing, right, you start getting off the list of things that are wrong. And then that can feel like, like you just have to think about it and be in it. And so it's quite easy to say, I'm fine, but also giving yourself moments where you actually can connect. Like, I only have 3 spoons and I haven't even gotten out of the house yet today, right? A great way to communicate to your loved one of where you're at. Learning to have no's, quite handy to say no. I'm actually not going to go to that art gallery opening. No. I'll be going home and being one with my couch. Yeah? So we're creating those spaces for us to heal, to reconnect, and in a way that we can communicate with our friends and loved ones of where we're at. And so we're still connecting. you still have those spaces, like in the blog we wrote a couple weeks ago, in that Facebook Live where we talked about where fine is perfect in certain situations. And other times it's nice to connect and really share with where you're at. So communication versus isolation. In the group course, we'll have group coaching where I'm going to be working with all of you, and you're going to be with other women in the same in that same recovery stage that you are. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle the cards. So I'm just picking them random here. All right, we got energy. So energy is a big one, right? So feeling not yourself, and that can also often be gauged by how much energy you have or actually do not have, right? So you're used to being zippy, you're used to doing a couple errands after work, you're used to being more social and hanging out with your friends, and yet your body and just your whole kind of everything just does not have the energy levels that you're used to. A lot of you are on hormone blockers and different meds that can affect that. But also, when you are tight and have this straight jacket of tightness, it's like moving through and running around in your high school jeans, right? It's really tight. It takes effort, even just to breathe, right? And you just would love to just unbutton that top button. You just would love to just open it up or shake it off, and yet it's still there. And so you learn to move through it. You learn to get through your day, but it's taking that extra energy just to manage it. To put it aside is taking energy. To move through that, to make decisions based on that. All of that takes more energy. And so as we relieve pain and tightness, as you really get to know your body, as you learn about the spoons and where you are, you get to ebb and flow. And then we have less chance of flare-ups, less chance of that feeling of overwhelm, and which can increase anxiety or even increase fatigue, right? And so we're looking at regaining some of that energy back. All right, next card. Moving through. All right, what do we got? The one thing. This is a beautiful technique that can help you identify where you want to go, what's in the way. Sometimes we can have a problem with what's going on because I just can't ride my bike like I used to, right? Or I can't really feel good at work and have that energy and do all that extra. And we can look at that, right? Maybe we don't actually need to be doing the extra, right? We get to really look at all the things, and you get to pick and choose. You get to create boundaries. And so the one thing is a fun technique that I use to help kind of zero in on where you're at. And so, for example, the one thing for someone might be, I want to have intimacy with my partner again. We had this beautiful language, and it's just, I miss that, right? I miss that connection. Me and my partner miss that. And so when we look at that, you can then look at what's in the way or what are the steps to get there. And so after really pondering that, someone could be, well, I've gained some weight because I'm not able to exercise and do the things I've done. I just don't feel comfortable in my body. So then we can look at tiny steps to work towards that, right? Working on our body, working on scars is helping you reconnect and feel safe and feel good about your body again. And yet there's also like maybe the clothes don't fit in your closet. So then can you find your favorite pair of pants in a bigger size? Or can you notice what other women are wearing that you think and admire or think they look sassy or good or whatever qualities that you like about yourself? So we just look at those different steps of what that might be. Someone might want to travel more. They used to travel. And then when you think about traveling, you think, oh, I have to like the suitcase and carry the suitcase and then the sleeve on the airplane and all these things, right? All the walking somewhere where you might be traveling. And so we look at that. Is there a suitcase that is amazing and moves as opposed to the backpack you used to wear or the bag, right? Something on wheels. Maybe you can borrow one from a friend. right? Do a little research. What have you guys been doing that is easy to kind of move around when you're traveling? Um, you can get a sleeve that's amazing, right? That has tattoos all over it because sassy is your thing, right? That helps you kind of make peace with that. You might find a sleeve or find someone that can help you so that it's easy to get on and off, or you practice and have ways that that works for you so it doesn't feel like such a chore or yeah, just create that angst before you're traveling. So we look at those different things and different steps that can get you towards your one thing that you're really looking for. And there might be more, right? But we just pick them and then notice what steps along the way can bring you closer to that one thing. All right, tossing that, shuffling the cards. All right, we're going to be talking about my course too. Okay, what do we got? Anxiety. So we talked about scar release. And so anxiety, as we work on our bodies, can be one of the tools to help with anxiety. Maybe skin anxiety, you're worried about reoccurrence, just overwhelmed, where we're not processing the day as well. So all these things, we get to know where we're at, not only as far as our body, the scans, right, but working on your body is going to help put you in the front seat so that you know if anything changes in your body, you're going to be the first one to know. Doing scar release, working on the breast tissue and the tissue surrounding that area is giving you that insight, what your body normally feels like, so that when you have something that comes up that feels out of your normal, then you'll be the first one to know. And you can go get that scan, make that call to the doctor, keep an eye on it, right? And so that can help soften and soften that anxiety. You have some data about what your body is doing. You have some insight into your nervous system and how your body is just really trying to protect you. And so then we can counter that anxiety. We can give some information to our brain, just trying to protect us. But we can say, okay, brain, I just got scanned last week and it's all clear. So we're in the all clear. So then you could look at other steps. You can do more, you can do your scar release and stretching. Maybe you need a round of physical therapy, right? But anxiety can be linked to the nervous system and just it's still kind of stuck in gear, is trying to save you. And so we can really reconnect with ourselves on multiple levels, letting our nervous system, letting us know deep down that we're okay. Good morning, happy Friday. Sleep. Sleep is so important, right? We heal so much when we sleep. And it can be a hard day if you wake up and you already feel like junk. You don't have any spoons, right? So giving the tools and techniques, learning how to work on yourself. So maybe you're not getting woke up from pain. You're actually able to find a way to sleep that's comfortable. Or say you wake up, you're able to fall back asleep. You can create the environment around you that helps support you sleeping. Journaling, really helping kind of unload our brain. Hey, Robin. Yes, I know, sleep, right? It's so important. And so when you wake up feeling refreshed, like that's a really good day. That's a great start. And so we can add tools so that when you are having trouble sleeping, maybe your brain is full, right? So we have ways of working with that, of also of pain or tightness. So we create techniques and such that you can do even while you're just laying in bed. Say you wake up with some pain and you can use that noodle, the techniques that I teach, to kind of soften that out and get comfortable again and get another round of sleep, right? Get some hours in there. Okay, when we're looking at goals, I've got two types, right? We've got functional goals, which are so important. That would be like sleep, like movement. I want to be able to put my shirt on without pain, right? That's quite functional. And then we have the fabulous goals. Like I want to be intimate with my partner and have big O's, or I want to travel, right? I want to feel sassy. I want to go to my sister's wedding and just feel full of it and be at ease in this big group of people in my beautiful dress, right? I want to ride my bike on the weekend for my 25 miles that I do on this trail that I love. That's a fabulous goal. And we look at the functioning goals that build up towards those fabulous goals, similar to the one thing. What is the one thing I really miss and want to get closer to? Yeah? So functional versus fabulous. And often in the physio and physical therapy, they're trying to get you functioning and then they discharge you. And so we are filling in the gap here between breast cancer and your new favorite self by not only addressing those functional goals, but getting to those fabulous goals. So I can't wait to hear about your fabulous goals. I want to ride my bike. Woo, throwing cards. I'm picking another card. Robin, I was just thinking about you yesterday. Love, love, love. All right, feeling at ease in your body. This can be sneaky because sometimes we maybe don't even realize that we're not feeling at ease in our body. When we talk about scar release, sometimes women have a really hard time even just touching their body. Maybe you were the one that found the lump. And so that scar release brings up that whole kind of fear and that. And so when you know that or make that connection, you can soften that. You can have a little more empathy and compassion for yourself. Like, oh, that makes sense why I never do my scar release, because that was how I found the cancer. That's a big deal. And even just acknowledging that and naming that can soften that fear around that, around your body, increasing that peace and sense of ease with yourself. That can get in the way of intimacy with your partner or feeling good in your clothes or with your body, is just inviting that place where you feel at ease in your body. So we soften the anxiety, the fear of reoccurrence. Yeah, we soften that pain, that tightness. The scars can soften and they become more smooth, and the discoloration can become more normal. So it doesn't feel as a sharp contrast, that it's just a big reminder every time you look at yourself or feel yourself. You're able to move your body without pain, that jarring pain that's reminding you about having had breast cancer. And so feeling that sense of ease can grow into so much more than just the pain relief, right? Easing that sense of tightness and such, but feeling at ease in your body, in the way you move and sit and slide and glide throughout your day, the way you get dressed in the morning, that sense of self where you are connected to how you feel inside as opposed to just what your body's doing or not doing. Feeling at ease with your body. One of the beautiful side effects of taking my online course. Oh, I love this one. Advocate for yourself. If you are engaged in working on your body, you're doing your scar release, you're doing your myofascial stretching and journaling or different ways that you're connecting. When you have something that shows up, it gives you the tools and insights to communicate what's going on. So if you feel something like we talked about before, say your body has something showing up. I had a client and she always worked on the cancer side. She had a double mastectomy, right? And the side that had the radiation, implants, but she worked on the side with the radiation often and was getting relief from that area, some more movement and such. But she noticed on the left side that she had some density and fullness that wasn't there around the implant, and maybe even a lump. So she can call the doctor with that information. Hey, I work on myself all the time and I do consistent work, and so this is different than what is normally doing. I have never felt fullness on this side. I don't have lymphedema on this side, and I even feel a little knot of something. I'd like to come in and get a scan. You have the tools to talk about what you're doing, and you have a sense of knowing, as opposed to just coming from, which can be very valid, a fear space of like, I'm just not sure, I don't feel good, I'd like to get a scan, right? You have specific data to give them and feedback and something specific that you would like them to check. Advocating for yourself, whether that's with your doctor, your healthcare team, that might be with your partner. Like, you know what? I'm not gardening today because I just did a little bit and I'm feeling, you can feel like you're closer to that line of threshold. I'm starting to get tight, or I haven't done anything in a really long time. So 30 minutes, this hour, whatever it was that you kind of did, is enough for me. I'm going to see how I feel the next day. We don't have to do it all at once. So you can advocate for yourself as you get to know your body and where you're at, using pain as pain is body asking for attention. And so you're going to be able to use what you learn to decipher and make those distinctions, whether you need to communicate those to others or even for yourself to take a break or to call it a day. I think that one is such beautiful work. Advocating for yourself and learning how to talk about where you're at and declaring the boundaries, having a full-hearted yes and a beautiful no without the explanations. Nope, 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 right? All right, intimacy. We talked about feeling that sense of ease with your body, advocating for yourself. So again, that can soften some of the anxiety, right? Ways to increase that energy. And so that can lead again to that beautiful space of intimacy with your partner. And when we are talking about intimacy, we are not just talking about like because we haven't for a while, right? We're talking about pleasure. And when you feel safe on a primal level, that's where you can go back into those spaces of pleasure and really let go and have those big O's and have that interaction with your partner and feeling that sense of ease, right? So when you are out of fight or flight, we feel safe on a primal level. That's the big old door to pleasure. We work on that, right? Those steps and how to communicate and talk to your partner, how to feel good in your body again. There's a bit of ebb and flow that I think is such, it is a beautiful way to live. To notice when you can pour the gas on and add more, to notice when you get to pull back a little bit and take some time with yourself. And as someone on the Facebook group said, be one with the couch. So reading your body, knowing all these different symptoms or even different ways that you're feeling, whether it feels isolated or you have a little more anxiety or dread or just changing your clothes 20 times before you leave the house, you can kind of use that as a little inventory. And so then you can ebb and flow with where you're at. And that's going to keep you out of that overwhelmed space. We have the tools to bring you out of there, right? All the beautiful individualized techniques of self-care. And so that'll slow you, bring you out of overwhelm. It helps keep you from having those flare-ups or having flare-ups that aren't as intense and they don't last as long. And you're able to use the tools and techniques that we learn in the course to bring you back to those levels of neutral. Knowing your body, right? Making peace with your body, understanding what your body's doing behind the scenes can be such a add to peace of mind. And the last card that I have today is about the pain cycle and threshold. And we've talked about this in the group a lot and in a couple of the blogs. And so we learn about pain cycles and just that piece of how when you have pain, your nervous system and your body is going to try and protect you. And so if I move my arm a certain way, there is pain. And then my body's going to be like, ooh, that hurt. We're not doing that again. So it uses the fascial system to tighten down. And so now it's tight and it hurts to move. And so it's going to tighten. And then it hurts because it's tight and it tightens because it hurts. So then we're in that pain cycle. So the tools and techniques that you're going to learn help you interrupt that pain cycle so that we don't keep adding to it, right? We get to learn how to treat and address the pain so that it can soften and the body feels safe again on that primal level to move physiologically the tissue softens and gets that elasticity back, right? We start to learn about that line of threshold and the self-care tools that help create space between you and overwhelm, between you and that next flare up. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to talk about my online course. It's Friday. I'm doing a live online course. I'll be teaching and we'll be doing some live group coaching. It's a 7-week course. It starts on June 6th. Monday nights we'll have class at 7 p.m. Central. They'll be recorded, so you can watch the recording if you can't make one of those. And then the online course is digital videos that I created with other women. They're amazing. These women showed up and I work on women, different types of scars and different types of surgeries from their breast cancer journey. And we show specific techniques for you to work on your body, right? Live. It's me working on women. And you will have access to these videos as long as Beloved Bust is around. You can log in and have a little pain. You're like, what is that technique she showed? You can log in and watch it again, right? So 7-week course, and there's 6 different modules where we go into different ways of working with your body, tools and ways to feel more at ease in your body. Some of the blogs that we teach here in the Facebook Live is not only just scar release and such, but we are looking at how the body works. We're looking at how we can function in that more fabulous way of those fabulous goals as opposed to just functioning and getting through. We're filling in the gap between breast cancer and your new favorite self. The course is $997 and there's an early bird discount of $200 if you sign up before May 14th. And so it'll be $797 and there's even payment plans. So you don't have to throw all that in at once. We can find a payment plan that works for you. If you have a coupon code of early bird, I'll put it all in the comments. So in this 7-week course, we're going to learn in this piece of know your body, right? We're going to learn what your body's doing underneath the hood, right? What the nervous system is doing, fight or flight, and the fatigue, and why sometimes we have anxiety and sometimes we don't, and specific tools and techniques to address them, right? We're going to be in a community of working with other beloveds that are recovering from their breast cancer surgeries and treatments. We'll have a private Facebook group so you can ask me any questions and connect with each other. Knowing your body, right? We can decrease anxiety and build up that confidence and that sense of self. You're going to have those tools and techniques, again, really learning how to be an advocate for yourself. And then helping the nervous system in your body process your experience. All of these just show up in ways that we are communicating and having fun. There's worksheets that you can have that can help you with the different exercises that we do, like your first breast cancer memory, right? We kind of go from whether we're working with the body or working with how we see ourselves and our body as we are recovering from breast cancer. We learn specific tools and techniques. So to treat pain and tightness, to decrease pain and tightness, right? To decrease lymphedema, right? We talk about how lymphedema is just can be scar release and fascia that's tightened. Like a garden hose, there's a kink in the hose. And so lymphatic drainage is amazing. But if we don't relieve the kink in the hose, right, it just continues to get backed up. So we open that space so the lymph has a place to go. Knowing your body, right? Connecting with yourself and helping your body process your experience. We go into a series, what I refer to as mapping. And this is, right? We come from that peace of mind to going into transformation. So mapping is really just reconnecting to your body. So different tools and techniques and ways that can help you process your experience and reconnect. So you have that embodiment, right? That fabulous goal is that much more accessible because you feel that sense of self, right? You discover new parts of yourself. that are shiny and lovable in all sense of greatness. So mapping specific tools to reconnect to our body. When we have trauma, we often disassociate. And so there are tools and ways that we can bring our attention, our inventory back in our body. And what comes from that is that beautiful sense of wholeness. There's a sense of movement that comes when you're embodied and in that arm again and in that chest, that expansion with your breath. And it just flows into that space of reclaiming your body after breast cancer. You'll get to know your patterns. You'll get to know different techniques or ways that you can soften and give yourself space. That beautiful long-term healing, which is this so much more than just relieving those scars, which is a huge part of it, but really, again, reclaiming your body, stepping into yourself and feeling that sense of empowerment and sense of self, sense of peace. And on a primal level, you get to tap into that part of you that knows that you're okay. I'm Melissa Russell. I'm so glad you're here. This is Beloved Bust, my beautiful life work of working with women for the last 20 years. And what I found was that women are not given the tools, that after they're discharged from having breast cancer, they're just left to fend for themselves, to figure it all out. And there's so much that we can touch on that help bridge that gap between breast cancer and your new favorite self. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Class starts on June 6th and your early bird discount ends on May 14th. So sign up before then. I'll put the codes, the discount codes, and a link to the page that talks all about the course. So you can look at that. And again, with your early bird discount, you get $200 off. I can't wait to be with you and again, answer any questions that you might have. And I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be talking about the course for the next month. So I'll be adding more. I'll be talking about some of the different ways that it's been helpful over time, other women's testimonies and such. And again, if you have any questions, reach out and we can address those as well. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.